So again, we are in part two. That is, today we are just going to talk about monocular best sphere. Okay, it's a part of subjective refraction, definitely. So in case of monocular best sphere, it's very important. This slide is okay. A patient without astigmatism should be corrected after this step alone. Okay, after this step alone, if patient doesn't have astigmatism, then correction happens there and then. Okay, if, however, if astigmatism is present, the aim of this step is to position two focal line so as to startle the retina. Means this. See, if after this position, after this step, that is the monocular best sphere, what we want is retina is placed here, somewhere between here. Retina is placed at the position of circle of least confusion, and the two foci straddle in reference to retina. Straddle means one focal point is in front of the retina and one focal point is outside of the retina. Basically, one focal point is myopic, one focal point is hyperopic. We want this. After this step, if there is no astigmatism, then and there everything is finished. Okay, so we have this supposition that two focal point so as to straddle the retina. After what? After this monocular best sphere step. And there are two kind of methods. That is, one method is visual acuity method, another is Bichrome method or Duochrome method. Okay, so let's discuss first on the visual acuity method. So ask the patient to read the smallest letter possible on the chart when objective reading, with objective reading. Okay, first place the objective reading and then ask the patient to read the smallest letter possible and add plus sphere power or reduce minus. Isn't it just, if you have, let's say example, power of -1 objectively, and you move towards the power of -0.75, this means is to add plus, isn't it? And this also mean as to reduce the minus, isn't it? So that's the concept. Okay, so in many times refraction these terms come, add plus or reduce minus, just don't worry about it. In a 0.25 step, until patient reports the blurring or to relax the accommodation. Okay, patient reports the blurring. Now reduce the plus or add minus in 0.25 steps until any decrease in power gives no improvement or makes vision worse. First you add the plus and see what if accommodation is completely relaxed and there is blurred vision or something like that, and then you reduce the plus, means you add the minus in same 0.25 steps, and the end point is if there is no improvement or if it is making worse. Okay, that's the end point. So note, with each reduction, patients should read the smallest line. Having the chart looks better is not sufficient justification to give more minus. Okay, it's always there. So just remember, as an optometrist, you have to rely on if patient is reading more letters or not. If patient is seeing just better, or like uh, letters are more darker or even getting smaller, that's where you should be cautious. Patients should actually read a small letter, that's the line. And don't confuse with the patient say, oh yes, it's getting better. That's not the sufficient objective claim to objective claim to you to add on more minus. Okay, that's very important point here. Okay, so check to the myopic overcorrection. The patient reports the letter appearing smaller. If you add a greater number of myopia, greater number of minus lens, then patient many times says this line. Letter becomes smaller and darker, and don't confuse it with patient sees better. It's not that. Okay, patient cannot see better. It's patient see smaller letters. The letters appear smaller and more darker. Okay, it happens with whenever you add more minus. And another and most reliable method is bichrome or duochrome method. It's based on the chromatic aberration. Which type of chromatic aberration? I have already told you in aberration chapter. It's a longitudinal chromatic aberration or axial chromatic aberration. So Duochrome chart is a distance visual acuity chart with a black letters is split in a equal to two identical halves. Don't ever confuse with a Duochrome test. Letters are always black. Backgrounds are green and red. Okay, that's very important to understand. Sometimes we student there are two type of letters, and these are red and green. No, letters are always red. So letters are always black. The background differs. Okay, letters on one half is red background, and letters on another have a green background. That's important. Background is have a different color. Letters itself, no. Since the red and green foci are nearly equally spaced about yellow emmetropic point, I am talking about this. Okay, if yellow emmetropic point is in the center, then red always lies behind and green always lies in front. Okay, that's what we call axial or longitudinal chromatic aberration, isn't it? So equally spaced about yellow and emmetropic should see the black object on the two background equally. It's very difficult to have two background equally clear, but let's see. In myopic, definitely red background letters are clearer. In hyperopic, definitely green background letters are clear, isn't it? In myopia, red is closer to the retina, that's why red background is clear. In hyperopic, green are closer to the retina, that's why green background is clear. So sometimes you say, whenever you correct myopia and you correct more and more and you place minus minus, then it becomes hyperopia, isn't it? And then green letters, uh, green background letters is clear. So in this case, we know that we have over corrected the myopia. Okay, in hyperopia, if you overcorrect plus lens, then this happens, isn't it? You add and add more and more plus lens, then hyperopia becomes myopia, isn't it? In that case, red background letters be clear to the patient. So procedure is dim illumination, preferably better for accuracy, it's always there, and 20 by 20 letters on the red and green background, and add plus power or reduce minus power to the objective reading till the letters on the red side is clearer, because we want myopia. Red side is clear myopia, and reduce again plus power till the letters on the red and green side are equally clear. Okay, equally clear. Or the last power with which the patient reports the letters on the red side be clearer is the best sphere, because we want a little bit eye myopic, because we don't want to leave eye as a hyperopic, because if you leave eye as a hyperopic, there is a stress in the accommodation. So that's why we want little bit towards the side of the myopia, because that's where accommodation is more relaxed, isn't it? So demerits of Bichrome test is, if emmetropia is larger than one diameter, test will be unreliable since the patient on both color will be grossly in focus, out of focus. So if it's larger than one diameter, it is specialist. When the older patient, the crystalline lens become more marked yellow and the blue and green light are partially absorbed. So it gives to the red bias. It's always happen whenever older patient, because of the crystalline lens become yellowish. Difficult with protanopic patient, since the red background is appear much dimmer than the green light background, but it's not contraindicated. Okay, it's difficult, definitely not contraindicated. But in case of emmetropia larger than one diopter, just remember, it's not, I'm not talking about larger than one diopter in case of just about a color. I'm just talking about a larger diopter defocused context. If we correct it with glasses, definitely we can do it by it's not that we cannot do, it's just a small demerits. Yes, larger demerits is the second point. Yes, and in third case, yes, it's difficult, but it's not contraindicated. We cannot do Duochrome case in case of protonic patient or deuteric patient. It's not that case. Okay, this is not the case. We can do, but definitely it's difficult. So, however, the subject is emphasized on a clear letter and do not the background. This is crucial clinical point. Many of the optometrists are doing wrong practice. Even students, I always say to students, it's about the emphasis on the clarity of letter, not the background, because background people get confused. It's about how clear and which background's letter is clear. Letter should be clear, not a background. Okay, so Duochrome test is useful in color deficiency patient. So Duochrome test is also useful. So color deficiency patient, it's useful, definitely. It's about the letters clarity, not about the background. So that's why no matter what, which color deficient patient, it's difficult in case of protanopic, but it's not that you cannot do that. You cannot do Duochrome test in case of any color deficiency, color deficient patient. Okay, you can do, but yes, you have to, it will going to be a little bit difficult than trichromatic patient. Okay, so that's it for the second step. And best reference is this. Yes, definitely these are the two better references. So Bistan, choose.